Hello, how are you today? Oh, the end of another week, but we're not finished working yet. We still have ways to serve you. This is day 4 of our second Conference Directors Week. It will run through next Tuesday, so you can think and plan and pray about attending conferences sometime during the first 4 months of 2019. In March or April, we'll have another group of writers' conferences for those conference directors who are hosting conferences in the second quarter of the year. Hi, I'm Patricia A Durgin, and this is Marketers on a Mission. We present marketing tutorials and interviews by and for Christian writers, speakers, and artists. This is episode number 185. The Mid-South Christian Writers Conference Director, April Smith Carpenter. Hello, April. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks.
We were just talking about it's cold where we live, and we don't like it. We're not used to it.
That's right.
Let's start off just talking about, tell me the very first conference, writers' conference or speakers' conference that you went to. Why did you go? How did you know the Lord wanted you to go?
Well, let's see. So my first conference was I found out about it through my monthly Christian writers group I attended, and that was the Colorado Christian Writers Conference.
Oh, yeah.
Marlene Bagnall sent out offering to Christian writers groups a special discount, and so I jumped on it and went on a whim, and I did that, and I was very blessed by that, but it was very overwhelming. It was like 4 days worth of eat, sleep, and it was very overwhelming. But I was so thankful I had my individual writers group where I could go monthly and have that support, an ongoing support. So, and the Reg Forder's American Christian Writers group out of Nashville came into Collierville every year, and so I attended his conferences, which was a 1 day, which was a great amount for me at that time. So then Reg retired and didn't do that anymore. So that's I will continue. That's kind of where our Christian Writers Group, the Byhalia Christian Writers Group, decided that there was a void in our area. But, we would like to bring that back to Collierville, Tennessee, which is right outside of Memphis. So how our conference got started.
So Reg was the connection to the conference, and then when it could have just disappeared when he retired. But y'all said no, let's not do that. So let's continue banding together. And you've been in charge of that for a good while. You're president, aren't you?
Right, and it took us 2 years to get off the ground. So I was looking back, we started in 2014 with our conference and with the 1 day, and now we're coming up on 2019, and we've had one every year. So, yes.
Is this the first year that it's 2 days?
No, last year we started that. Day last year.
Okay. Well, one of the things I was wondering as I was looking at your bio, that you've been a fitness expert for over 20 years. Number one, I'm very impressed. Good for you and good for your family. Also, I'm wondering, there's so much discipline that takes place, that needs to take place to stay into a task, especially a fitness task. Has any of that carried over, the discipline, the making up your mind you're going to do it, staying on task, making a schedule, any of those strengths, do they carry over to your writing?
Well, I wish I could say it did. That's a great way to connect the two, for sure. For me personally, I teach every day around noon, and I have a daughter that I drive to and from school, and so life gets in the way. I just have to stop what I'm doing because I'm employed, and I have to go and fulfill that 1 or 2 hour commitment that I do every day around noon. So, yes and no. It's kind of frustrating in the sense that if I get on a roll on something, I have to stop what I'm doing, rush and teach. So I don't know if it sounds fabulous. You know, I think for me, when I am in a good place, I can get up in the morning, I can take a walk for myself, pray, and then I get some brainstorming ideas. I come home and write them down, and then I can start my day. So, yeah, I think for me, that's a great connection. If I can personally exercise. Right now, all my exercise is doing for others. You know, I am the leader. So when I am focused on a task or something that has a deadline for me personally with writing, I tend to get up, take a walk, or do yoga, meditate, and have my journal real close by. Because as much as I teach, I constantly am sore. So the stretching I do and the yoga, I tend to pick a scripture from my devotional and just replay it in my head as I'm stretching, you know. So, and then there's all sorts of equipment you can have to help you stretch. You know, there's a foam roller now and the balance ball. And so, and then other times I can see myself going out and really walking, not really running, but walking and quiet time. Yet, you know, God tends to speak to me when I'm walking, especially on the treadmill. I can be walking and all of a sudden I'm jumping off the treadmill and writing something in my phone. You know, it's a good journaling for me, and yoga and walking and prayer is all a way to jump start. I can get all the clutter out.
That makes sense.
And then I can go.
And be creative.
Right, exactly.
What kind of writing do you prefer to do? I know you have a wide spectrum of topics you can discuss and serve about.
So one thing I love about Bob Hotstetler, and I'm going to throw this in real quick, is that the last year I think Reg had a one-day conference with us. Bob was our keynote. And I was struggling with all this variety I had. Fiction, nonfiction, exercise, parenting, being a mom, you know, women. I was struggling, and I asked him, what do I do? You know, and he said, you know, I just like to write. You know, you don't have to pick anything. Just write. And I love that. And I was like, oh, you don't know how much that helped. Just hearing him say, I just like to write. I'll never forget that about Bob saying that. So I guess my favorite right now is I'm trying my best to write my daughter an email every day, 5 days a week. At school. She has a school email, and I'm trying my best to either take a proverb I've read or my devotional for that day and say, you know, this scripture spoke to me and it said this, or, you know, and they're just short, but that's been my favorite right now. Sitting, you know, because I don't want to be that mom that never said anything. You know, we can get in the car and drive, and every now and then I'll remember, oh, I wanted to share this with her. You know, but if I'm right there typing it down, if she reads, great. If she doesn't, you know, my husband says I blind copy him. He says he's saving them, so in case you know, in case she loses them. So, but I'm safe. It all started. There was some parenting expert that put out for free 30 days of Proverbs for parents, and that's what kickstarted me. I saw that proverb, and you know how the person was just going through it for 30 days, and I thought, you know, this would be great. Just delight yourself in the Lord. This is what it means to me. You know, if you really know God, what your delight is. I want to have an A on this test, or have a role in the play, or, you know, make the chorus audition, whatever, you know, just things like that. She's 16, so.
It seems to me that in addition to serving your daughter and your husband, that this would also, I mean, it seems like such a simple thing, a parent sharing with a child, but it's still keeping your juices going, isn't it?
Yes, it's practice. It's practice.
Clarity of the message and so forth.
It's practice, and it's for years I wrote covered high school football for the local paper, and it taught me to write on a deadline. You know, you go to the football game, I would start writing at halftime. A lot of times I'd have to take photos as well, and then I had a 10:30 at night deadline with the pictures.
Wow.
So that was very that was challenging, and it helped me write on the deadline, and it helped me be as, because, you know, I tend to want to say this big story, and then you really only need this. You can't do it when you have a 4-hour window. You really can't. So, yeah, it's all practice. Practice your craft. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hearing you say, without saying the words, there's a lot of structure, has been, is currently a lot of structure that, and it keeps you focused, and both personally and professionally.
Yeah.
It's a natural part of your life. It's not a natural part for everyone's life, is why I'm mentioning it.
Right. But, you know, what is natural for Christians, though, is a personal time with God, hopefully, you know, that personal relationship. So why not, if you're in tune with the Spirit, and the Spirit speaks to you, and you write it in a journal, you know, it could help someone else.
Yes. Absolutely. Have you considered compiling those notes to your daughter into a book or devotional?
I have. This is my second year doing it, so it's not like I have I did it last school year, was my first year. So what gave me the idea was CBS this morning. I watched, I did not skip church and watch.
Just know.
You know, you DVR things that you want to watch. So I was watching it, and this gentleman who is a cartoonist decided 9th grade year of his daughter, he would draw on her lunch sacks every day. And she kept them from 9th grade to 12th grade.
Wow.
And he would go around with the theme of what was going on, like, you know, like there would be a clock and, you know, or a calendar, you got this many days left, and they just got more detailed and more detailed. So, and she's kept those. So, you know, yeah, I hope that hopefully by her senior year, she'll realize, oh, Mom did this every day.
We never know. When we follow God's leading, we never know what it's going to end up with in our hand that we can use for other people as well as the original intendee.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, let's cover the nuts and bolts of the conference. That'll just take a moment. It's the Mid-South Christian Writers Conference. It's 2 days, March the 15th and the 16th. Friday, it starts at 1 o'clock, and it's over at 5. Then there's a meet and greet that evening. And then Saturday, it's 9 to 5. So it's a half day on Friday and a full day on Saturday. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And we're going to give some more information about that Friday afternoon, because there's 2 different options for Friday afternoon. Each are 4 hours, and we're going to get to those in just a minute. The location is the Collierville First Baptist Church in Collierville, Tennessee, which is near Memphis.
Correct. Right. It's a suburb of Memphis. Right.
Oh, okay. So if someone were to come in and attend and they were flying in, they would choose the Memphis International Airport?
Correct.
Most likely. And you've got an early bird special that ends on February the 23rd. So we've got March the 15th and 16th is when it begins. And on February the 23rd is the last day to register and get the early bird price, which is $10 less if you register by then. Okay.
Right.
And you take walk-ins, don't you?
We do. We take walk-ins, but cash and check only for walk-ins.
Okay. So let's see. We just covered the registration. The registration also includes a box lunch. So when somebody gets there, they're set. It's not an extra charge, and they don't have to go somewhere else and find their own food and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So we have appetizers at the meet and greet, and we tend to buy more. So we also have, we're Southern, you know, we're in the Southern, we like Southern hospitality. We've got a fabulous team of folks that we are, one of the reputations that we are, what am I trying to say? That is following us, that we have Southern hospitality. We do. And one of those is food. You're not going to go hungry at our conference. You're not. We have, the meet and greet, and then things stay over, and then we have, coffee and soft drinks all day, and then the leftover sweets and veggies. And then, if you want to go to lunch, you're welcome to, but it's and just another time to fellowship, get to know someone, or, it's just another time to visit, because a lot of, writers are introverts, not extroverts. And so it's, we tell them, you can't come here and be a fly on the wall. We're going to immerse you. We're going to put you in there. And, people, where's the favorite part of your house when you have friends over? You sit in the kitchen. It's all surrounded by food.
Yeah.
So you won't go hungry. And we have, we have gluten-free options. We have vegetarian, if you can't, so. And if you need to bring your own lunch because of dietary, we make sure people know that this is what we offer. If you can't eat it, just bring your own lunch. So,
one way or another, you're covered.
You're covered. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is not, this is a 2-day conference. So then we're not talking about a mega conference. And you offer, in the smaller group, you offer things that the mega conferences can't offer because they're talking about hundreds of people or maybe 1,000 people. But you're talking about a smaller group of people. And it's more, I'm assuming, more personal, more chummy, for lack of a better way to say it. And you can make friends quicker, I'm imagining.
Right. And I hope that we're, I hope the atmosphere is chummy. I really do. It's funny because, well, it's not funny. When Reg was doing conferences, the numbers were really low, and we couldn't understand, what was going on. And so then we started praying that, Lord, we're going to do all of this, but we want people there. We want to do this for 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
But that's your will, Lord. We're gonna do it. So we started praying, and one of our members prayed for 50 people for the first year. She didn't see anybody until day of, when we had 51 come through the door. I know, isn't that God? And every year we have increased in numbers since then, but it's been manageable. Mm-hmm. The church where we're at is, they have bukus of space. Mm-hmm. We've started in one little nook of their church, and now we're expanding in that same church, which is nice, Mm-hmm. So last year, I want to say we had 120.
That's a good number.
So, and we're pleased with the growth. We certainly wouldn't want 500 to come, anytime soon, because we're just not ready.
We have to grow into it, don't we?
Absolutely, baby steps. But God has been good and faithful, and we've been blessed. We're blessed just by putting it on, even. So.
Yeah. So the prices for the conference is there's an early bird tuition of $80. Now that $80 tuition cost expires February the 23rd. So on February 24th. It will be a little bit more expensive, and that will be $10 more. Is that right?
Right. So that's just Saturday. If you want to do both Friday and Saturday, early bird's $115.
Okay. Thank you for that. And we've got the box lunch, which we've covered. Registration fees are non-refundable, so this is not a place to toy and consider and then change your mind. There will be strict repercussions. There's lodging, of course, since it's at the church, there's not lodging on campus, but there's lodging very nearby, lots of good hotels, and 2 of them, the Hampton Inn and Courtyard by Marriott, they've given you a special rate for your attendees.
They have, yes.
Yes. And is that got a deadline too? Do they need to get in there and get that? Because I think you mentioned in there that there's going to a big soccer time.
Yeah, it's big soccer in so also in Collierville is this huge soccer complex.
Oh.
In first part of March, they run them every weekend, soccer tournament, where kids come in from out of town and compete. So you need to, if you are considering coming, you need to get booked. I think that special price, there's only so many at that special price.
Yeah.
So even if you know, even if they had rooms, our block could be full. You just don't.
Yeah. It's just best just go ahead and get it done.
Right.
And it's so economical. It's just so economical. It's hopefully it would be something that you would be able to afford easily. But don't dilly-dally. If you're coming, don't dilly-dally. Or, you don't. It may be that hotel rooms are available for a larger price, a higher price, but it also may be with this whole soccer complex tournament situation that they might not even be available, even at a higher price. So,
Absolutely.
Let me check and see if we have any questions or comments. We have some viewers who are currently remaining incognito, and that's completely fine. We're so glad you're here. Let's talk about the faculty. Bob Hostetler, he's been around for a long time. He has helped a lot of people as a writer, as a speaker, as a pastor. Now he's also an agent. Isn't that right? Yes, he's an agent, Steve Lobby. He's been with you for a while, and he's got a lot of duties during this conference.
Right. He does. So he will do 2 keynotes for us, and he will have an individual workshop, and he will take one-on-one appointments. So,
he's so giving. Tell us about the one-on-one appointments, please.
One-on-one appointments. We ask the faculty. We also, say that you're certainly welcome to say no to do this because it's an option thing. We don't pay extra money to our faculty to do this. It's something that they're going to do out of the kindness of their heart. So we have authors, we have agents, publishers, editors. So we have faculty. We have 10 faculty, even though one is a pair. So Johnny and Pat are doing a session together. And then we have 5 additional people that aren't presenting, that are just going to be there to do one-on-ones. So, and those are, one lady is an editor from Cross River Media. We have the publisher from Mantle Rock Publishing. We have a literary agent, Julie Gwynn from the Seymour Agency, and we have John Goodhams, who is the editor for Guidepost, their fiction division. Okay. So all in addition to the workshop leaders. So, yeah, we're real excited about that. So it's a first come, first served basis. I think 8 a.m. on Saturday, we put the sign-up sheets out, and everybody goes and signs up for one. And then if there are spots available, we're announcing throughout the day that if you want a second appointment, you can, it's first come, first served. So they're 15 minutes long, which, so they get about 4 in an hour. The workshops are still going on at the same time, so people are up and out of the rooms, which the presenters are fine with that. So it's a great way to meet one-on-one and pitch your idea, to someone. Or, you might have a one sheet you want to share with them and get their feedback. So you have 15 minutes. So you can, it's really, if you're new to writing, I would suggest please come on and take advantage of at least, meeting with one person, and that person can just be encouraging, encourage you to, okay, that's a great idea, or have you thought of it this way? We are all about encouraging writers to do God's, work. All this is for God's glory. And so certainly we want, this is just an extra added help that can, send a person away from the conference and maybe have something to do. Maybe that editor would want to see more, or how it works. So.
And these are all part of the conference fee, right?
Right. We don't charge any extra for that. No.
Okay. And so is it possible, some conferences you submit beforehand work, manuscript, poetry, fill in the blank. Some you actually just have it on hand and you bring it, or you even just sit down and have a natural conversation with them and toss some ideas around. So is it more on present when you're present, not sending things in ahead of time?
Right. So Johnny's workshop on Friday, that is brand new, and she is limited to 6 people, but she's requesting 6 or 7 pages beforehand. That's the first time we've ever done that. So every year we try to add something new. So Johnny's workshop is what we've added new this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a critique session. And so that's really the only, the conference attendee and the mentor do not connect before Saturday.
Okay. All right. And then there's a second Friday workshop, and both of the workshops on Friday are 4 hours long. So, I mean, they're really meaty. You're going to get some good content there. And the other one is stirring the pot, writing for chicken soup for the soul.
Right.
And that's two presenters there.
Yes, Andy and Tracy, and they are on the conference committee. We have a fabulous committee, by the way. They make my job easy, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Tracy's our registrar, and Andy is our decorations chair. So they do this other places, this chicken soup for the soul thing. So last year's Friday's session was our first time, and we had Hallie Bridgman come in on self-publishing, and that was very well attended. So this year we thought we would try the chicken soup for the soul. Between Tracy and Andy, they have published over 24 chicken soup for the soul books.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 stories in 2 books, and they have done probably about 24 combined. So I think that's a great practicing your craft.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So writer prompts, you can look at what they need, and they're really great it's very structured, and you have writing time and you have critique time, all in that 1 to 5. So.
Mm-hmm. And both workshops have an additional cost on top of the conference fee.
Right.
The chicken soup for the soul, that is $35 extra if you're attending and have registered for the full conference. And if you only come in on Friday, it's $55.
Correct.
Okay.
This is I think 25.
The second one is 25, and the deadline to have all that information into Johnny is March the 9th. So this is another reason why we have conference directors come and share with us the information about their conferences months before the conference is close, because there are deadlines that have to be met, and then you have to have time to create in order to meet the deadline. This is not last minute stuff. That is Johnny is opening scene critique. Only 6 participants. There's only room for 6, and you will come away with a critique of your first page, or it might be first 5 pages.
First 5 pages.
Yeah, 4 hours.
And Johnny is fabulous. Johnny is on our committee too. Our committee is really heavy with great authors. I mean, Patricia Bradley, Tracy Alexander, Tracy Crump. You do have some great. We have some great people on the committee.
Brenda Yoder is. We have interviewed her before, and she's wonderful.
I can't wait. I've heard such great things about Brenda.
She has a great heart. Some of the 10 Saturday workshops, I'm just going to call off a few titles so people can get a feel of what kind of workshops will be offered. So there's the basic stuff, building platform 101. We all have to have that. We just need to.
Right.
Nonfiction 101, which is what Brenda's going to be presenting. Everything you might need to know and more about nonfiction. 15 must-haves for author-writer websites. And we need help with our websites. There are standards that we're not aware of. We put something up and it looks really nice to us, and it's functional. But readers have expectations of what they're going to see when they come to a website. It's really helpful to have an understanding of what those requirements are. And the last one that I saw that was really interesting of the 5 was Introduction to Writing for Young Children, Board Books, Picture Books, and Early and Easy Readers. Now, I'm not sure who's teaching that. I can't remember who's teaching that.
Her name is Jean Matthew Hall.
Yes. That sounds really interesting.
So what we try and do every year, very first thing we started with that we fall back on in planning this conference is prayer. From day one, we've had a prayer chaplain who, you can't do something like this without prayer. And from day one, we have prayed. And we pray over, the planning every year. But what we've come up with a template on our workshops. We try to have in each session have a fiction, a nonfiction, and a business selection.
Oh, good.
Okay, so you have slot A, B, or you have A and then lunch and then B and then C grouping. So what also is new this year is that we're actually going to repeat a session once. So like Vicki Durstock's, I think she's repeating, so that we tried to pick 3 to repeat. So now there are 4 selections each time slot.
Okay.
But the base has always been in each slot, you're going to have a fiction, a nonfiction, and a business part of writings to choose from. So
I like that approach, and I'm sure that the attendees like it as well. The business aspect is so, for some people, especially if we're just starting in this field, it just doesn't sound like this is even necessary. Why are we talking about this? You can't be a writer or a speaker and not have knowledge about the business side of it, because it's 2 sides of the coin, creativity and business.
Right. Unfortunately, today's publishing world, it's not like it used to be, where you had an agent and then an editor, and they did your marketing for you, and they had an editor for you, and they designed your cover for you. That doesn't happen that way anymore. So you've got to be it's your business. You've got to be on top of everything that somebody wants to do with your baby that, is your book. So the business part, is very important as well.
So tell us about the attire. What do we need to wear? What about the climate in that area? And then also the terrain. Of course, if it's in the church, and the church, it looks like it's nearly brand new, so there shouldn't be any issues with terrain, right?
With what?
Terrain. You're not in the woods.
Oh, right. No. So Carterville is a booming city. It's very populated. But within the, we always say, bring a sweater. You don't know what you're going to do. One year, our site director stood outside and listened carefully because we had a tornado warning coming through.
Oh.
So he was on site going, okay, when do we need to seek cover? Memphis weather, you don't know what you're going to get. And then another year, the second year we had it with Vonda Shelton, she, thank goodness she was available the very next weekend, because we had this huge snowstorm, and it was in March, and we had to pick the entire conference up and move it this weekend. So you don't know what Memphis is going to do in March. You really don't.
Excuse me. Do you record the workshops? And if you do, are they available for purchase?
No, we are exploring that option. Since we are so small, we try and do 1 new thing a year.
Right. That's nice.
We're doing 2 new things. We got Johnny and we got repeating. We decided to repeat sessions. So that is all. If anybody has any other conference directors that might be watching, if you have some pointers for us on that, we certainly would love to hear. We have a great setup in each of the classrooms. We have PowerPoint facilities. I mean, we don't really use a microphone in the individual sessions. We use the microphone in the keynote. But, the actual classrooms are not set up already from the church to do audio or video. That would be very lovely if we could do it. If we did, we'd have to hire an outside company, and right now they are very expensive. Yes.
Maybe the Lord will send you someone who has a heart for it, that belongs to the church, or cares about somebody there, a family member or a friend that's knowledgeable, has got the equipment. Anything could happen.
That's right. We're open. If God put that down in front of us before this year, we would certainly consider it.
Okay. All right. Now you have a Facebook page for the conference. Is that correct?
Correct. Mid-South Christian Writers, and you do have to request to become a member, and you have to answer a couple questions. basic questions, just so that we make sure you're not a salesman and you're,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're trying to, make sure we're all writers, basically.
Yeah. Is that active year round, or only right before and during and right after the conference too?
Well, it is active year round. We do have committee members that are in charge of each day that we try and post something every day, either if it's a graphic of a scripture or, I found this how-to article, or, something is being posted every day.
Okay. All right. So I've got the links for that, all the websites, the Facebook information for both April and the conference. I'm going to post those after the episode is over. So don't worry. We're going to make sure that you get the information that you want to have. So let's close this out. What is one particular thing that you would wish that your attendees leave with?
I want them to, if they walk through the door with one preconceived notion, I want them to leave with a better understanding of what God's calling is for them. I hope that we were able to encourage. I hope we were able to turn a light bulb on for them, to spark that creativity, or to, I've got this great project, but who do I ask about it? Who can, maybe we want a connection. Mm-hmm. I want them to walk through the door and have a connection with another conference attendee, have a connection with a workshop presenter or the keynote, and that they can leave with being filled, their cup filled. Yes. I feel like, for me personally, going to a writer's conference, not directing one, because, I can't sit in on everything I want to sit in on. None of our members can, because we are there to serve, our attendees, and we don't take that responsibility lightly. We're going to make sure that you've given us your hard-earned money, and we are going to do our absolute best that you can leave here with a takeaway value. I think everybody's takeaway value will be something different. Mm-hmm. Really do. But we want them to know that you have a support system. If you want to fall back on us, whether if you live in Texas or Ohio or Florida, you're with like-minded people. And, every now and then you just need somebody, I hope a friendship is made where they can connect, maybe a critique, get into you need a critique group or whatever. So, there's all sorts of possibilities that people could have. I think if that person came to our conference and chose to be a fly on the wall, I don't know if their money would be well spent. But we are going to try our very best to make sure every person who comes through the door can have a takeaway value that person needs.
Yes. Okay. All right. This is good stuff. I appreciate you being with us today. It's a Friday. You've had a busy day already. Everybody's sort of got their hair down usually on a Friday. I appreciate you making the time and telling us about the Mid-South Christian Writers Conference in Collierville, Tennessee, held March 15th and 16th next year, and that is a Friday and a Saturday. Great workshops, 2 options for 4-hour workshops where you're really going to come out with a product. You're going to have something that's going to be finished, or you're going to be on the way and understand how to finish it on your own. It's not just a once-over overview. No, that's of little value. You get pumped up, but then you leave and you're like, I don't know how to do that on my own. 4-hour workshop, you can learn how to do it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then 10 workshops on Saturday. Bob Hostetler, three different times, plus one-on-one appointments. Other people will have one-on-one appointments. Part of your conference fee, 15 minutes to brainstorm, bring something, fill in the blank with what you need, the questions that you have, and the people are so approachable. Faculty is so approachable. Oh, Tracy's here. Let me see if Miss Tracy Crump. Let me see what she has to say before we close out. Tracy says, great job, April. And then thanks me for highlighting the conference. You're very welcome, Tracy. We're glad that you were here and that April was here. Yes.
Now, Tracy is the one that you will contact with once you submit your registration. She is your friend until the day of when you walk. Well, you'll see her at the registration table too. So we couldn't do this without Tracy, that's for sure.
Well, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate you viewers being here. This Conference Directors Weeks are so important because there's so many variables that it could be the length of time is not what makes one conference similar to another conference. You can have totally different faculties, totally different workshops. The conference itself has a different flavor because they're based upon the conference director as well as the board of trustees and so forth, or the committee. So everybody has a different way to run things, and this person and this group thinks that this is the most important. Let's make sure we really hone in on this. While a second conference of equal value and equal length may have it in a different direction. So we need to explore as many of these conferences as we can, and then to meet the conference directors is a special thing. You don't have to wait until you get there. Tracy says, I love to connect with our attendees. Go, Tracy, go. This has been Marketers on a Mission, episode number 184. This is the Mid-South Christian Writers Conference. This is the end of the week. We are so glad that you were here all week. Next week, on Monday and Tuesday, we will continue with 2 more conference directors, and then we'll go back to our regular schedule of interviews and tutorials. Thank you so much. We will see you Monday.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.